Happy Monday, everyone. I look like a hot mess. I haven't brushed my hair since I woke up. I'm just sitting here drinking coffee, and I'm watching a thing about the Great Reset. Okay, where's my mind at today? And I've just got to say this out loud. Okay, Gone Girl 777, she's so very smart and so very sweet. She truly, truly believes in studying the Bible like I do. BP Earthwatch as well. I read some things recently, the Lost Books of Adam and Eve. There's so many things unfolding in my head. What I'm watching with this Great Reset video, I was watching a lady called Red Pill Portal. She's a gal from Canada who's kind of like the Marfugal of Canada. And she's turned me on, yesterday posted a video from James Corbett about the Great Reset. Guys, I'm only 31 minutes into this thing, and I'm watching this video from the World Economic Forum. Interesting, the Great Reset, New World Order, the and new, same amount of letters, great and world, same amount of letters, order and reset, same amount of letters. In their video, they were talking about, James Corbett was pointing out, they've got a coronavirus, they've got this interesting graphic that goes along with this Great Reset idea. And the graphic has been around since 2017. They just replaced the node. I watched something a couple days ago about nodes, and this guy who wrote a PhD, wrote his doctorate in 1997 about compromise nodes. And nodes being this thing that can be a person or an idea. And it seems a node is something you plug into your little circle of thing, like your little wheel you want to get rolling. So you take your specific node, and when you get the right one and plug it in, the wheel starts to turn. The wheel is about, in this case, economic, globalism, etc., etc. They finally have the node they can plug in, which is COVID-19. So now that we've all gone through that process for 6 months, we're primed to act in any sort of a way that they can get their wheel rolling. What I'm reminded of, everyone, and the reason why I'm like, oh my God, I gotta video this down and say something. When Jesus was walking around teaching, hanging out with his disciples were always asking, when's the end time going to be? When is this done? They wanted to know just like we do. And, my theory from watching my earlier video, I'm always interested in what everyone has to say, but I really, really, really bank on and take all of the stuff I hear, and I go to, first, what does the Bible say? But reading it for myself and going through the third time, Jesus became a real human being to me, like a dude, not this storybook guy, not iconic guy in a stained glass pitcher, not even, we had a family Bible when I was a little girl, and in the middle they had the most gruesome picture ever. It was very graphic. It was like Jesus, on the cross, crucified, blood, sweat, all of that. Like, it probably was focusing on him at the moment that he gave up the ghost. I'll read the thing of Adam and Eve. It's okay. Fair warning: when y'all guys all sit down and start listening or reading the Bible with me, the truth is going to make your mind go, just saying. And it also leads you to more truth, which explains foundations that you wondered about. God knows all the questions in your head. He wants to answer them all. Hang in there, people. Point is all the guys are asking, when is it time? When is it time? When will we know? And the two things that run to my head are the fig tree in its full season, which we talked about, which is Israel. But the other thing he talks about is it will be like it was in Noah's day. He brings up Noah's time, specifically. Like the world's going to be like that. we've been, and I am more convinced than ever that stuff from chemtrails is coming out of our bodies. I get itchy, mosquito bitey kind of things. That's got to be what's happening. And I don't mean Morgellons like that's okay. You if you read any of it and then they look, it's like these little things coming out of your skin, like microscopic nano kind of way. If they did the chemtrails, which they did above my house, all through the Obama presidency, I think Clinton and probably Bush, they all figured it out. They were all across the sky, all throughout the 2010s and the teens, the 20 teens, all throughout them until like the first 6 months that Trump was in presidency. Then I noticed everyone was talking about that, but I noticed the chemtrails went away. A lot of people lately, you get mosquito bites around like your ankles. I had them on my neck, on my arm. There aren't that many mosquitoes in my house. And people think mosquito bites because when you look at it on your skin, it looks like a mosquito bite. Like the way your skin raises and the way it traditionally a mosquito looks. We know they've copied bugs, so warm compress people and try not to get too aggravated. You'll read, if you follow along in one of my videos, I was, aggravated by the mosquitoes. Yeah, the point is to just study and get better in all of your things because we're never going to be perfect. Ever. Not ever. Hell, you know my opinion now from what we read. I think that once we're in our resurrection bodies, okay, which is a perfect physical way, our heart and our soul and our experiences are still going to be there. Moment of shame in a resurrection body. So, that tells me that, because shame is a challenge for a lot of people here on earth in their human bodies. So there's some challenges that are detrimental to us as human beings that are going to continue even when we don't have this anymore. So whether it's getting upset about the people around you or the politics that are happening in your nation or the seriousness of what's going on in the world or mosquitoes, study to show yourself approved by God, okay? And it'll work itself out. And it's personal for everybody. That's why I know this thing is alive, because when you start reading this, it knows you and it crawls in and it starts answering all your questions. But, okay, the point why I'm like freaking out and making a video while I'm watching this Corbett Report video on the Great Reset, Noah's time. I have to go back because we read Genesis and we're reading that it's about time about, the pre-flood. But again, and I have to double check, I think before Noah's time, there was the guy that was making the Tower of Babel. At least there was the Nephilim running around having the relations and the babies with the human women. The only people that were really in any kind of communication with God was like Noah and his 4 people, right? From Adam to Noah. That's only like 5 generations or something, or 7. I should probably count that. There's so many things about right now, about Noah's time. So I think we're going to dive a little bit deeper on that and finish reading our stuff and try and put some things together. I might actually read the lost books of Adam and Eve. I don't like the idea of apocryphy, but Gone Girl would appreciate this too. Try and keep this under 10 minutes. She was talking about the Kenites being in charge of the canon and the Bible, and the Kenites being descendants of Cain. Well, one of the things that the enemy likes to do anyway is twist the truth. In any way possible, okay? So they take something from here and they twist it. There's a twist in here that we all accept when Abel makes his sacrifice. In the Bible, he sacrifices an animal, a lamb, or something. He sacrifices an animal. When Cain sacrifices, he brings like cornucopia basket of fruit. The cornucopia basket of fruit is not good enough. The animal is. Cain is not accepted. Cain, that's the seed for Cain getting so upset that he takes action on his murderous impulses. Okay? And the thing about Adam and Eve, the lost books, the idea was there was man on earth, there were people on earth, there were humans already. But then there was Adam and Eve. And they were kind of hanging out, sort of floating invisibly, resurrection-y body, whatever it was in the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was kind of like above the earth just a little bit. It wasn't really, they weren't really like trotting the earth with the human beings that were on it. And then they ate the tree, and then bam. And it says in here, first you think, but it says in Genesis, my whole little brain the other night was like, oh my goodness. That's Noah, that's Methuselah. Genesis 3:21. The Lord made garments of skin for Adam and his wife and clothed them. The reason why I'm diving into some of the apocryphal books and tying that into you guys, because I want you guys to realize we're almost at the end, and one of the things about God's funniness and his daddy's extremely hysterical sense of humor is when something is explained or there's a truth, there's like levels of truth that keep popping up. So in this thing, first it's like, okay, so Adam and Eve screw up, now they have human skin, then they're like walking on the earth and they don't even realize that they're making like footprints and stuff and that they've changed. And then they realize they've changed. They really didn't have any kind, they always had light, like we're said to have in the New Jerusalem in the Bible, etc. Okay? They'd never experienced darkness. They screw up, God puts them out, they're like crying at the gate, etc. Then it's finally like, God's like, just go in the cave of treasures. Just go there and you'll be all right for right now. They go in this dark cave, they can't see each other, things have changed, they're really bummed out, they're trying to figure out, like, how do I pray? What do I do? You know, the thing that's hysterical is they kept killing themselves, like, and then God kept bringing them, like, don't do this again, you stupid. It's actually kind of a funny book, but when we get back to Cain and Abel, Abel only made sacrifices because he had a little plant, a little garden of corn or wheat, some kind of grain. Cain was the one who was tending the sheep originally, which is hysterical. It's completely wiped out of the Bible. Cain brings a lamb and it's not good enough. The descendant of Satan brings a lamb and it's not good enough. Who's said to be the lamb who eventually comes? Jesus. And God says, I will send one. In these lost books, he says, I'll send one. Which is Jesus. Which was good enough for propitiation. So that's very funny. It's a very interesting twist. You know what Abel's sacrifices were? Little cakes. He would take his little cakes from his little corn plot, right? Make his little cakes every day. And do his little cake offerings. He'd bake little cakes, like an easy bake oven, right? So he's just like this little thing, and things went well when things screwed up, and then they went and got sad and cried to God, and then God was like, well, here you go. Here's some things to fix it, or don't, when they figured things out and were able to, like, live, Abel saw his parents doing the sacrifice thing, like, every so often. And Abel loved God so much, he was like, well, how about every day? And how about little cakes? So that answered one of my questions. When we go in here, when you first look at it, you're thinking, your face can't make the sound. And then I found, like, oh, ephah. There's an entire 10 or 20 pages in this book. We will read it. We will get there about ephahs. And I've always been wondering, what's with the cake? What's with the ephah? What's with the grain offering? What is that? Where did all these kind of things come from? What were these ideas? God was like, okay, here you can do this and you can do this, and I like this. This is a way to say, hi, Daddy, we really like what you've given us. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff from there. So I just promise you guys I'm going to work. I'm going to be consistent. This isn't really work. I like doing this stuff for myself, and I talk to myself in my own head when I read the Bible, so might as well record it. But you guys, we are right at the door. We are at the door. We are at the door. We are at the door, at the door, at the door. The day is approaching. And we're going to learn about it. Because everyone's going to have something to say. If it's approaching and we keep moving closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, it's going to be really, 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 really important that you are able to discern the truth, because they're going to sell you a pack of gum to explain whatever agenda is rolling down the pike. And the fact is overall, the agenda is God the Father. And, the earth is accomplished through Jesus. I still haven't made a video of my true feeling about what's really, really, really going on at the very deep part, like where does the earth come from, etc. God's eyeball. Sorry. We'll read it in the New Testament. Jesus was just like, better to rip out your own eye and throw it away from you than enter the fiery pits of hell. Like, that was the one thing that he said, like, better you do this than that. That was the one, like, all of his other things are really parable-y, but that's, like, kind of literal, and it's very specific. Like Ellen on The Good Place, where they're going, oh, so-and-so, she goes, well, it's not like I found a wallet, and then she gives these really specific examples, and then they look at her and go, that's really kind of specific, and then she realizes she just busted herself and gave somebody some crazy-ass story where she acted like a kook. But yeah, the eyeball thing, anyway, I'm digressing. Just hang in there, everybody. Oh, and I'm going to continue doing this, too, because surprisingly, David's girlfriend, well, not his real girlfriend, but Giovanna. She's one of my work colleagues that I just adore. I think she's amazing. So we were talking about, I was sharing with her that David, with the whole, you guys remember, it was the dogs on the porch. Because I send her like little 30-second cat videos where David's talking, or I come home for lunch. It's whatever. But I told her about my video, like where David is. I said I should probably video, and I said, it's just me reading the Bible. It's probably nothing interesting. And she goes, I'm actually interested in that kind of stuff. She goes, but I have a hard time, trying to maintain focus and read, like when I'm reading the Bible. So who in the world knows? Maybe this is a way to expose some of the truth to the millennial children's. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm probably just avoiding time for writing. But you know what, everybody? I just want to write my own stories. There's enough time for that after things change. I don't know. But I'm going to be consistent with these videos, and maybe I'll get a subscriber someday. Monday out.